Very good evening, my dear friends. It's a great pleasure to be with you back. In today's session, I will discuss about the application of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 and further important definitions. Some important definitions in the examination point of view also. Our subject is even though CIRP starts from section 6, in fact, unless you understand the definitions in technical terms and meaning thereof, you will not be able to understand the CIRP. For that reason, I want to discuss about these things. Apart from that, the application of this legislation also. So far the short title is concerned, Jammu and Kashmir now is redundant. So absolutely there is no point in discussing that subject matter. Now section 2, this is part 1 of the act, section 2. We are basically concerned with part 1 and part 2, wherein section 2 is dealing with the application. So this particular provision says that I requested you earlier to hold the Bare Act with you. I hope you are all having. It says that the provisions of this code shall apply to number 1, any company incorporated under the Companies Act 1956 and 2013 and previous Companies Act also. So previous means starting from 1850 to 2030. That is the meaning of that A. As I explained this earlier. B is any other company governed by any special legislation also. Then the third one is most important, the LLPs, Limited Liability Partnerships. Under the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008, they are also covered because it is only the register of companies empowered to register those LLPs. Obviously, LLPs are also covered under the IBC. Then I have recently WhatsApped to all of you personal guarantors liability as decided by the Supreme Court. So the personal guarantors are also liable. And then who are personal guarantors to corporate debtors? And then in general, this code applies to partnership firms and proprietary firms and individuals other than those referred above and in relation to their insolvency, liquidation, voluntary liquidation, or bankruptcy, as the case may be. This aspect I have covered in yesterday's lecture. Now, friends, this is the application. Then that means companies, LLPs, individuals, partnership firms. Cooperative societies are separately governed for winding up under the appropriate Cooperative Societies Act. In the same way, societies are registered under the Societies Registration Act, a central legislation, and they are also governed under the relevant legislation. So, for that reason, you don't find the place for IBC under this code. This code is pertinent to only individuals, partnership firms, LLPs, limited liability partnerships registered under the LLP Act 2008, and of course, our Companies Act, either 2013, starting from 1850 to 2013. All these particular legislations are relevant in this particular context. Now, friends, there are few definitions I'd like to deal with. In fact, this definition portion is extremely important for us. In future, we will not, in fact, go back to the subject matter and we say board here IBBI and we go by technical terms and we say operational creditor OC, financial creditor FC, and corporate debtor, corporate person. These are all the most important technical terms we are supposed to understand and then remember throughout in study of this particular IPC, wherein we are concerned at the moment with only corporate insolvency. We are now not discussing about the individuals. We are not discussing about the partnership firms. We are not going to discuss about LLPs. No, we will discuss about only companies and LLPs for the reason that we will discuss about only LLPs and companies because IBC applies to both LI and both have to be registered with the register of companies. Friends, we will now go further with the definition portion, wherein under section 3, subsection 1, the definition is that board. I have been making reference to board, where here board means the IBBI, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, which was established under subsection 1 of section 188 of the code. That is a regulator. That's why I have been telling 100 times. Regulators for company administration, regulator for securities, regulator for banks. I have been telling you. Here, regulator for insolvency and bankruptcy, the IBBI, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, which was established under subsection 1 of section 188. The regulator is all powerful and it has the mandate to do and undo things with regard to this particular operation. However, the dispute resolution is concerned above the board is the National Company Law Tribunal, which is the adjudicating body. So that is how you have to understand. Adjudicating body is definitely all powerful, and then it will go above. But it will not annul the board's orders. It will not declare an order of the board as unconstitutional. That power is vested with whom? Please tell me, anybody? If the IBBI, if the IBBI passes certain orders, those orders, whether are complied with by the RP, has to be examined by the NCLT. And if not, NCLT may pass appropriate orders. But suppose the board itself, IBBI, has passed an order which is found to be unconstitutional, NCLT or NCLAT cannot touch it. It has no power. Then which is the which will touch it? Which is the body which can scrutinize the order of IBBI is legal or illegal, constitutional or unconstitutional?
Supreme Court, sir.
Why can't it be High Court?
High Court లేదని చెప్పారు కదా సార్. Very rare circumstances it can invoke its jurisdiction.
Actually, under Article 226 of Constitution of India, Article 32 Constitution of India, under 226 High Court, 232 Supreme Court. In that event, to scrutinize the particular order passed by IBBI is legal or illegal, constitutional or unconstitutional, absolutely for High Court there is no prohibition. Article 226 is more wider in jurisdiction and power than Article 32. So, is there any specific direction by the Supreme Court that High Court should not interfere and scrutinize the orders passed by IBBI? No. So, High Court and Supreme Court are constitutional courts. Their basic power cannot be taken away unless Supreme Court directs. But normally people go to Supreme Court under 32 for the simple reason that to avoid duplication, directly approach the Supreme Court. But Supreme Court can as well say you come through the High Court. There is no power. That is the reason why the subtlety of law here is that any order passed by the IBBI with regard to the IPs, with regard to the procedures, cannot be questioned before NCLT. NCLT will only see that order is complied with or not. But the legality of that order is questionable either in the High Court or in the Supreme Court, as the case may be. This is the fundamental principle of law we have to understand. The limitation of NCLT also. So NCLT cannot sit over the decisions of the IBBI. This is what you have to understand fundamentally. NCLT is basically a dispute resolution forum for initiating CIRP under IBC, passing appropriate orders under various provisions of Companies Act, like revival of companies, operational mismanagement, amalgamation, reduction of capital, and so on and so forth. Umpteen number of cases. The Companies Act provided for interference by the NCLT. So accordingly it will proceed. So you have to understand the powers of NCLT are to be examined as provided under the IBC, as provided under the Companies Act. Then the enclave powers, the appellate jurisdiction read with the Competition Act, where additionally it has got power to decide on the disputes pertaining to Competition Act. This is the jurisdictional aspect of NCLT and NCLAT, that is National Company Law Appellate Tribunal.
Question.
Yes.
You see, NCLT will decide on some cases.
Please come on the screen.
Yeah. I am Ramnarayan.
Who are you?
Hello. Yeah. You see, here.
రామనారాయణ గారు
వినమట్లేదా?
వీడియో సార్, వీడియోలో రమ్మంటున్నారు.
వచ్చినాయి కదా ఇప్పుడు?
వచ్చారు.
చెప్పండి.
ఇప్పుడు ఏం లేదండి, ఇప్పుడు ఎన్సిఎల్టీ will give some judgments on which if anyone has any issue, they will go for review to appeal for NCLAT. And can you tell us why IBBI issues some orders? Some examples can you give?
IBBI issues several orders regulating the conduct of RPs, resolution professionals.
Okay.
And for the procedural aspects, compliance, information utilities, their conduct, and various procedural aspects, NCLT won't stipulate the procedure. It is only IBBI which stipulates the procedure. Understand?
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. So, friends, now I explain this for the reason, while learning about IBBI, you must also understand what are the powers of IBBI, which is not in my paper, but you must understand it for the reason that IBBI plays a very integral role in ultimately following the procedures, either stipulating or also observing and disciplining these particular RPs. RP is an integral part of our CIRP paper, where RP plays a very integral and pivotal role in order to constitute COC, that is Committee of Creditors, and make out a successful resolution plan, failing which going for liquidation. So I hope, dear friends, you understand this particular important aspect. That is the reason why I explained to you about the IBBI and then the board. Here always, wherever, unless otherwise stipulates and states in the legislation, board implies only the IBBI, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. Now, friends, I will take you to the second definition. Today, I am going to discuss about some important definitions with appropriate explanation. So, the first point I have discussed about IBB. I have already discussed about application, to whom this particular legislation applies. Now we are discussing about definitions. Under definitions, the first important definition is board, which I explained. And then the second point, here the second definition is bench. Bench means what? Actually, the bench means the National Company Law Tribunal bench. Here, adjudicating authority is the term used, which implies National Company Law Tribunal, not Appellate Tribunal. National Company Law Tribunal is the original at the grassroots level. And that has got benches all over India. So there are benches at Hyderabad, Bangalore, Bombay, Calcutta, Delhi, Jaipur. So that's the reason why here the bench means the bench of the adjudicating authority. What is the adjudicating authority? National Company Law Tribunal. So you have to address it as, for example, the Hyderabad bench of adjudicating authority, that is National Company Law Tribunal. This is how you have to make out a reference to the NCLT. Then, friends, the next definition is
Sir, somebody is waiting, sir. Can you please allow them?
sure.
Padmini or
Yes.
somebody is. Yeah.
One second. I will. Thanks for bringing it to my notice, my dear. Because I am in my own lecture mode, obviously.
Yeah. Thought so, sir.
Yeah, I allowed them. So now I am used to this operative system also, because this is normally all my lectures are operated and controlled by ICSA and ASCII. So there they take care of all these things. Normally we don't bother. So the only for your PG college, I had to take care. Where now I get indication also. I learned yesterday. No one is waiting. Okay, I am getting the message also. So that is good, in fact. So friends, the third bylaw. I hope now, friends, you are all attentive and understanding the subject. Any doubt is there? Come on screen and raise your hand. I will accommodate you.
Sure,
So that it is a little bit hard subject, but very interesting and useful. And for practice also, it is essentially, in fact, what you call it, important to learn. So I definitely give enough time to clarify in the preliminary stages, so that you will be prepared for advanced learning. So ultimately, our purpose is that we have to get proper communication, and you must understand. Yes, Mr. Srinivas Rao, please tell me, sir.
Sir, in the application of the law of this IBC 2016, మీరు ఏమన్నారంటే యాజ్ పర్ సెక్షన్ 2G ప్రకారము ఇండివిజువల్స్ అండ్ అదర్ పర్సన్స్ రెఫర్ టు ఇన్ ది క్లాస్ అన్నారు. దే ఆర్
ఏమండి?
ఆల్సో అన్నారు.
ఎక్కడండి?
బట్
Two?
individuals and other persons referred to in class E are also entitled to they are eligible for application of this law.
This law applies. మీరు ఇక్కడ చూస్తే సెక్షన్ 2లో ABCDEFG ఉన్నాయి.
అవును సార్.
అందులో ఈ ఏమో పర్సనల్ గ్యారంటర్స్ టు కార్పొరేట్ డెటార్స్ వస్తుంది. ఎఫ్లో ఏమో పార్ట్నర్షిప్ ఫరమ్స్, జీలో ఇండివిజువల్స్ అదర్ దాన్ పర్సన్స్ రిఫర్డ్ ఎట్ ఈ వస్తుంది. అంటే ఇండివిజువల్ ఇన్సాల్వెన్సీ, పార్ట్నర్షిప్ ఇన్సాల్వెన్సీ, LLP లిమిటెడ్ లయబిలిటీ పార్ట్నర్షిప్ ఇన్సాల్వెన్సీ, కార్పొరేట్ ఇన్సాల్వెన్సీ, ఆల్ 4 are covered.
In that way they are individual.
అయితే మరి ఇండివిజువల్ ఇన్సాల్వెన్సీలో ఇండివిజువల్స్ వస్తారు కదా.
అదే సార్, IBC 2016 is not applicable for individual.
No. IBC 2016 applies to, I repeat again, 4 categories of persons. It applies to individuals, that is individual insolvency taken up by the DRT, partnership firms taken up by the DRT, Debt Recovery Tribunal, the LLPs, limited liability partnerships, they are equivalent to corporates decided by NCLT, they are also covered. Then companies. Apart from these 4, the personal guarantors to corporate debt are also covered.
Yeah.
Personal guarantors ante etla? A company is brought to CIRP. An individual stood, let us say, as a personal guarantor to the company debts. One of the director of the company stood as personal guarantor. Now we will have to correlate and integrate the provisions of law of guarantee under Indian Contract Act to IBC 2016. That is the very interesting aspect of corporate insolvency process. So now what happens? Just please don't disturb me. Then what happens? Then what happens? The corporate insolvency. See, what is this disturbance, gentlemen? Please, I am talking here, sir. Have some discipline, gentlemen. I am explaining some important point. You don't disturb me. You can be accommodated later on. See, a corporate insolvency process is started against a company for 100 crores. And for 100 crores, 6 individuals stood as guarantors for the debts. All guarantors are covered before NCLT. So they are not exempted. NCLT will drag them. Then they will also be made accountable. And in the process, they will have to discharge their liability under the Indian Contract Act. You have to correlate now the Indian Contract Act with the provisions of the IBC 2016. I hope now you understand, Mr. Srinivas Rao. అర్థమైంది కదండి?
Very clear, sir. Very clear, sir.
Thank you. Now, gentleman who is now talking, please tell me what is your doubt, sir? That's it.
Sir, not the doubt, sir, but Mr. Chari, Venkatachari is waiting. Can you please admit him, sir? That is all.
That is the reason why you must be punctual, sir. Otherwise,
Sorry, sir.
it's disturbed.
He was trying.
And our time expires by 45 and we have to restart. Meanwhile, the programming will be disturbed. I request all of you to be punctual. Sharp 6:05. I will start from tomorrow and all of you should join by 6:05, my dear gentlemen. And one more thing, in future, you please send a message. I will keep my cell phone in silence. 924-634-7769. 924-634-7769 is my WhatsApp number. And you please send a message. Silently I will see and I will allow them instead of openly coming up and disturbing. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very sorry for that.
No issue, no need of sorry. We will work it up. Don't worry. Come on, let us proceed further. Shall I proceed further? Any more doubts? Shall I proceed further?
Carry on, sir.
Thank
Sir,
you.
good evening.
Oh, yes, sir.
Sir, good evening. This is Venkatachari speaking.
Okay.
I'm eagerly waiting since 5:55 onwards.
I have allowed several people so far.
No, sir. I've seen the yesterday also.
Mr.
I could not
Chari,
get your this thing.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chari, I have allowed several people even now. Where are you, sir? You now in or not?
I'm
Venkatachari
in, sir, now.
Because you are in, you are able to talk to me.
Yes.
Forget about it.
Sir,
Come on,
sir.
let us proceed further. Come on. So now I have completed my discussion on the board. Then I have told you about bench also. Then the third one is pertaining to bylaws, wherein the third one is bylaws. The bylaws are concerned. The bylaws as made by the Insolvency Professional Agency under section 205 are to be taken as bylaws for the guidance of the National Company Law Tribunal. Then friends, here the word chairperson is referred to as the chairperson of the IBBI, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board. Actually, in the initial stages, there are several. Okay, let me complete this. There are several technical terms which will raise questions I will answer all the questions, don't worry. But one by one. Then what happens is your doubts will subside and you will be thorough to face the advanced study of the subject matter. Because companies winding up under 2013 Act is no more in vogue. It is only the IBC that comes into picture. For that reason, I had to take you to square one. For that reason only, I thought I must hold sessions from Monday to Friday till 15th June, 14th June, so that what happens is we will meet regularly and then we will come to the mainstream and cover the lost classes. So tell me, Mr. Srinivas Rao garu, what is your doubt?
Sir, as per section 205 of the IBC 2016, insolvency professional agency will frame the bylaws and చెప్తున్నారు.
అవునండి.
Does it mean these bylaws are particular to that particular case, sir? లేకుంటే they are all అందరికి పనికొచ్చే విధంగా ఉంటాయా, లేకుంటే మీకు నాకు జరిగేటువంటి ఈ ఐబిసి సిఆర్పి ప్రాసెస్ లో ఆ పర్టికులర్ కేసు గురించి ఏర్పాటు చేస్తారా?
మీరు అనేది ఏంటంటే ఏజెన్సీ తయారు చేసినటువంటి బైలాస్ ఏమైతే ఉంటాయో those bylaws are in a particular case or binding on individual case అని అడుగుతున్నారు.
బట్ బైండింగ్ ఆన్ అందరికి ఒకేలాగా ఉంటాయా, లేకుంటే ఇండివిజువల్ కేసులో ఉంటాయా? అది సార్.
యా, ఇక్కడ ఏమని రాస్తుందంటే సబ్జెక్ట్ టు ది ప్రొవిజన్స్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ కోడ్ ఎనీ రూల్స్ ఆర్ రెగ్యులేషన్స్ మేడ్ దేర్ అండర్ అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ అబ్టైనింగ్ ద అప్రూవల్ ఆఫ్ ది బోర్డ్ ఎవ్రీ ఇన్సాల్వెన్సీ ప్రొఫెషనల్ ఏజెన్సీ షల్ మేక్ bylaws consistent with the model bylaws specified by the board under subsection 2 of section 196. So 196 is pertaining to model bylaws. Model bylaws ever తయారు చేస్తారు? The IBBI prepares model bylaws. That is the powers and functions of board కింద వస్తాయి.
అవును సార్, అవును సార్.
మోడల్ బైలాస్ ఆర్ ప్రిపేర్డ్ బై ది ఐబిబిఐ. అందుకే నేను చెప్పాను ఐబిబిఐ ఇస్ ది రెగ్యులేటర్ ఆల్ పవర్ఫుల్ అని చెప్పి. నౌ ఐబిబిఐ వన్స్ గివ్స్ ది మోడల్ బైలాస్ ఆల్రెడీ గివెన్. ద ఏజెన్సీస్ విల్ అల్టిమేట్లీ ప్రిపేర్ ది appropriate guidelines further. So that is what he says. Every insolvency professional agency shall make bylaws consistent with the model bylaws specified by the board under subsection 2 of section 196. So insolvency agency will prepare bylaws depending upon that particular case.
అది సార్, అది సార్.
I hope now my answer.
Basing on IBBI model guidelines.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now for that మనం ఏం చేయాలి అంటే ఇన్సాల్వెన్సీ ప్రొఫెషనల్ ఏజెన్సీ అంటే ఏంటి అన్న యాంగిల్ని మనం స్టడీ చేయాలి. ఇన్సాల్వెన్సీ ప్రొఫెషనల్ ఏజెన్సీ మీన్స్ ఎనీ పర్సన్ రిజిస్టర్డ్ విత్ ద బోర్డ్ అండర్ సెక్షన్ 201, because 201 speaks about the insolvency professional agency. The insolvency professional agencies are covered under chapter 3 from sections 199 to 205, and section 200 speaks of the registration, and then further the governing board of insolvency professional agencies covered under 203. The functions are concerned, 204 is very important. 204 says the insolvency professional agency shall perform granting of membership to persons who fulfills all requirements set out in its bylaws, lays down standards of professional conduct, monitor the performance, suspend or cancel the membership, redress grievances, publish information about its functions. Actually, Mr. Srinivas Rao, if you read 204 read with 205, if you read 204 read with 205, 204 empowers the insolvency professional agencies to make out in consonance with the board's bylaws a general bylaws framed for information this insolvency IPs professionals, resolution professionals, and their suspension, their conduct code, everything is regulated by the agencies with the appropriate recommendation given to the IBBA. Under 205 they prepare bylaws. ఇక్కడ ఇండివిజువల్ అంటే ఎట్లా వస్తుందంటే agencies won't go into the cases and prepare individual bylaws. They will generalize. But the resolution professionals will constitute COC. And the COC will make out the guidelines. And it will take appropriate decisions individually in each and every case, because COC is changeable from case to case. COC ante Committee of Creditors. So committee of creditors concept is different, but bylaws are concerned, they are in general prepared with the general power under 204. So మీరేం చేయాలి అంటే to understand better insolvency professional agencies powers and role, you have to start off your discussion from section 199 to 205. మనం CIRP ప్రాసెస్ సంబంధించినంత వరకే మన పేపర్, ఇది మన పేపర్లో రాదు. కానీ to understand our paper, these provisions you have to study. Without understanding these provisions, you cannot understand our paper. That is slowly I am consolidating other subjects also. But examination point of view, this is not relevant. To understand our paper, you have to study this. But in the examination point of view, this will not come into picture. These are all the two things, my dear friends. You please understand, and you follow chapter 3 of part 2 from 199 to 205 to understand the concept of these particular agencies. I hope now you understood, you are clarified, Mr. Srinivasrao.
It's very clear, sir. As per section 2 of as per subsection 2 of section 196, IBBA makes the bylaws, and case to case, the insolvency professional agency will make the bylaws
and
per section 205.
And 204 gives the powers of agencies.
Yes, sir.
So you have to read 205 with 204.
Yes, sir.
You have to read 205 along with 199 to 205. మొత్తం సబ్జెక్ట్ చదవాల్సిందే. But specifically 204.
It is just like IPC లో డెఫినేషన్ తర్వాత పీనల్ సెక్షన్ ఉంటుంది కదా సార్, అలాగనమాట.
అక్కడి నుంచి ఇవన్నీ వస్తాయి. అందుకని 199 నుంచి 205 వరకు తర్వాత చదివితే ఏజెన్సీస్ కాన్సెప్ట్ మనకు అర్థం అవుతుంది. అందుకే ఈ డెఫినేషన్స్ లో మనం డెఫినేషన్ ఒక లైన్లే ఉంది, అది చెప్పిపోవడానికి వీలు లేదు. అవి చెప్పుకుంటే యూ హ్యావ్ టు స్టార్ట్ కోరిలేటింగ్ విత్ అదర్ ప్రొవిజన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది యాక్ట్ అండ్ దెన్ అల్టిమేట్లీ అండర్స్టాండ్ ది డెఫినేషన్. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ వెరీ లవ్లీ సబ్జెక్ట్ అండ్ వెరీ ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ ఆల్సో. ఐబీసీ మీరు చాలా ఎంజాయ్ చేస్తారు ఈ సబ్జెక్ట్ని మీరు అందరూ కూడాను తప్పకుండా ఎంజాయ్ చేస్తారు. అండ్ ఎవ్రీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఆఫ్ కార్పొరేట్ లా ఈజ్ కవర్డ్ విత్ రిగార్డ్ టు కార్పొరేట్ రివైవల్, కార్పొరేట్ లిక్విడేషన్. ఈ రెండు ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ మీరు ఐబీసీలో వస్తాయి. అందుకని
ఐ హావ్ వెరీ పర్టినెంట్ క్వశ్చన్ సార్. ఈ సిఐఆర్పి ఏదైతే మనము రిజల్యూషన్ ఏదైతే ప్రాసెస్ కంప్లీట్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తామో, ఇట్ ఈస్ ద బేసిక్ పర్పస్ ఆఫ్ ది సిఐఆర్పి ఈస్ టు రివైవ్ ది కంపెనీ ఆర్ లిక్విడేట్ ది కంపెనీ, విచ్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ మోటో ఆఫ్ ది సిఐఆర్పి సార్?
రివైవ్ ద కంపెనీ.
Revive the company.
Chick Industrial Company Special Provisions Act is repealed. And it is no more in existence. They don't want corporates to be killed. They want corporates to be revived to the maximum extent. However, if it is not possible to revive the corporates, దానికి టైం ఫ్రేమ్ ఇచ్చారు కదా, that time frame I will explain, because ఇప్పుడే అన్ని చెప్తే స్టూడెంట్స్ కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అవుతారు. ఆ టైం ఫ్రేమ్ లోపల కనుక చేయలేకపోతే ది రిజల్యూషన్ ప్రొఫెషనల్ విల్ రిపోర్ట్ హిజ్ ఇనెబిలిటీ టు రివైవ్ ద కంపెనీ saying there are no takers who came forward to revive the company, then the only last resort is liquidation.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు విశాఖపట్నం స్టీల్ ప్లాంట్ సార్ ఇట్ ఈస్ లాసెస్ లో ఉందని చెప్పేసి మనకి అందరికి మనం న్యూస్ లో చూస్తున్నాము. గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా వాంట్స్ టు సెల్ ది కంపెనీ టు సమ్ అదర్ కంపెనీ.
Yes.
మళ్ళీ రివైవ్ చేయకుండా ఈ విధంగా చేయడం ఈజ్ ఇట్ పర్మిసబుల్ సార్?
కాదు. అయితే దాని మన సిఐఆర్పి ప్రాసెస్ అప్లికెంట్స్ ఎవరైతే క్వాలిఫై ఉంటారో వాళ్ళు ఎన్సిఎల్టీకి అప్లై చేయాలి. ఎన్సిఎల్టీ డస్ నాట్ హ్యావ్ పవర్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్టికల్ 226.
అవును సార్.
Who can apply? The company itself can apply. Creditors can apply.
అవును సార్.
Government can apply. Suppose they are all not applying, they are not going for revival, and they are offhandedly going out of bounds and going for, as you said, selling off to some agent, foreign agency or other local agents, whatever it is. The correct forum to agitate is under Article 226, the High Court of Andhra Pradesh. Anybody can file a bill also because it's a government company.
Sir, being the financial creditor of that Visakhapatnam steel plant,
Yes.
Government of India can initiate the CARP process and transfer the ownership from Government of India to private company. ఆ చేయొచ్చు కదా సార్?
Under NCLT powers.
అదే NCLT పవర్స్ ప్రకారము
CIRP చేసి, if CIRP లో ప్రైవేట్ ఇండివిజువల్స్ వచ్చి టేక్ ఓవర్ చేస్తే, అయితే there is a rule now, government companies cannot be taken to NCLT. There is a specific judgment has come from Bombay NCLT, followed by Hyderabad NCLT bench also. Indakannave benches ani, bench means NCLT bench. So the Hyderabad bench, Bombay bench and principal bench now took the view that government companies cannot be taken to NCLT. అందుకని ఇప్పుడు ప్రాబ్లం ఎక్కడ వచ్చిందంటే, when government companies here are not subject to the jurisdiction of NCLT, then the only forum to give justice and agitate is either by a bill or direct, what you call it, litigation, only the High Court of
Article 226 ప్రకారం,
or under 32 also,
32.
Supreme Court.
Yes sir, yes sir.
ఎవరైనా ముందుకు వచ్చి పిల్ వేయాలి, వేసి వాళ్ళు యాజిటేట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, పిల్ కూడా వేయచ్చు.
అవును సార్, అవును సార్,
పిల్ కూడా అవకాశం ఉంది అందులో. సో గవర్నమెంట్ కంపెనీస్ కి యాజ్ ఆన్ నౌ దేర్ ఈస్ ఎ డిఫరెంట్ రూలింగ్స్ వచ్చినాయి. At the moment, it is the law that government companies are not subject to CIRP process before the NCLT. So this particular aspect lone Visakhapatnam steel plant struck అవుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు మీరు one advice to all of you, ఎకనామిక్ టైమ్స్ అర్జెంట్గా మీరు అందరూ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయాలి. Every day in economic times, you will get information about Bombay NCLT, Delhi NCLT, Hyderabad, and all the NCLTs in the country, benches, where several judgments are coming up, orders, and they are all subject to NCLAT and Supreme Court. And most of the cases lo meeku live information IBC kinda vastund. Revival plans meeda, CIRP, all these things you get there. For that reason, I request all of you to subscribe to Economic Times, which will give you a lot of information. So I request you to do that. Yes, gentlemen.
I represent Economic Times, sir. I write for Economic Times. I'm a journalist working for Economic Times, sir.
Very nice. You give for concession all your friends the Economic Times.
Sure,
offer it.
Sure, sir.
Because they are all your colleagues and fellow students. You make some good concession, and then you ensure that they all get Economic Times. That is a lovely newspaper. We even recently all appellate hierarchy and all that Tata's, for example, everything is crystal clear they are reporting. So that is the best paper for corporate laws and IBC. I repeatedly tell my students to go into that. So I request you to do that. Then friends, please tell me any other question? Yes, gentlemen.
సార్ ఈ ఏదైతే ఎన్సిఎల్టి బెంచ్ ఒక వేరే స్టేట్ ఇచ్చినటువంటి ఆర్డర్ ఈజ్ ఇట్ బైండ్ ఓవర్ టు అదర్ స్టేట్ సార్ అన్లైక్ హైకోర్ట్
Actually what they are doing now, as a matter of judicial precedent, it is not binding. However, they are having a policy like CAT, for example. They want to have uniformity because the principal bench is Delhi. The principal bench is at Delhi. So they are consolidating. By and large, they will have uniformity. Normally, there won't be conflict of decisions. So, High Court jurisdiction is different. It is under Article 226. It is a constitutional forum. Our NCLT is a statutory forum. The benches are ultimately controlled by the principal bench at New Delhi. That is the reason why they are generally maintaining uniformity. So, this particular government company is subject to CIRP also is unanimously approved. Most of the benches took the view they won't allow government companies to be brought before the National Company Law Tribunal. So clarity is there because principal bench is at Delhi. Now, friends, there is an indication the meeting will close because of that 45 minutes limit. I will come back to you again. I will close and come back. Don't go. All of you stay back. I will come back.
వెరీ వెల్ సార్
Thank you, dear friends. I will be back again. Please stay back and wait.